All right, hey, Mike McGrory. Listen, today I want to show you one of the questions that we get a lot are, things about selling plants. And of course, one question is, how do you sell plants in the early spring when they don't have any leaves or they're not in bloom or they don't have any flowers? And then the other question we get a lot are, people know that we call these bench cards. I'm not even sure, but anyway, it's a point of sale sign. And people are like, do you have a template? No, you don't need a template, because you know how computers are. Whatever software I'm using is not going to act right on your computer. So anyway, basically what we do is we make these signs up, and there's a couple ways to do this. If you print, you can actually buy like a plastic material, like a sign material, and if you have a color laser printer, you can print right on that, and that's pretty well waterproof. If you're using an inkjet printer like we've used here, you can print this. This is like 67-pound cardstock, and then we simply run it through a laminator, and this actually holds up pretty well. Eventually the lamination might start to leak, so when you make these things up, you should save them on your computer. That way if you need another one, you can just open it up and reprint it and laminate it. So these things do a great job. For instance, this is Goldfinger potentilla right here. These things don't bloom until the middle of summer, so if somebody wants to see a flower, and then you're going to write a description. Now, when you write the description, you got to be careful not to be too booky about it, I guess is kind of a crazy word. But in other words, make it appealing. The example that I always use with people is that burning bush, if you read any kind of online information about burning bush, they get 12 foot tall. Well, most people don't want a 12-foot tall burning bush. For years and years and years, I had 2 burning bush in my landscape, and I kept them at about 42 inches. Every year I just cut off all the new growth. They look great, they turn red in the fall, and they stayed at 42 inches. So when I write the description for burning bush, I'm gonna write, this is a beautiful plant, it's somewhat shade tolerant, light green leaves in the summer, deep fiery red leaves in the winter, can easily be trimmed and maintained at a height of 42 inches. That's important. People need to know that they can maintain it at 42 inches. So think about that with all of your plants. But like Goldfinger potentilla, I can sell this with no leaves on it, no flowers, because of this little bench card. So basically, to make a bench card, all you need is a word processing document. I use Publisher only because it's a program that I became very, very familiar with way back in the beginning when I first got a computer. But you can do this with Microsoft Word, you can do it with OpenOffice. Anything else, Amber? I don't know, but almost
anything really.
Any word processing program will allow you to insert a picture. So basically, you're going to put your picture on one side, put a little bit of text on the other side. This particular one is probably about, I don't know, it might be 5 by 7 or something, but I used to make them 5.5 by 8.5. I got 2 up on a sheet, and then we would actually we'd trim them down a little bit, because we would put them in a 8.5 by 11 laminating sheet and then cut that in half. So anyway, it's very simple to do. One of the things that we did this fall is I went on, I think I got these on eBay. These are like paint stirring sticks. They were really, really cheap. So we take a paint stirring stick and then a binder clip, and we just clip the card right to the stick, and then you can stick it right in a small container. You don't need a stake or anything like that. So it's actually pretty simple, pretty basic, and it really, and it keeps your customers shopping longer, because they can read the descriptions and they have an idea of what they're buying. You can even, make recommendations in your description. This is a great border plant. This looks good with underneath a Japanese maple, things like that. So anyway, we call them bench cards. There's all kinds of, you can buy real fancy software to make these things with. I don't think you need it. Just do it in your word processing program. The paint stick, anything else people ask us about all the time? People make this way too challenging. They're always like, well, I don't know how to do it. So
I know our customers too, when they come in, they're always they ask for they're looking for a lot of shade plants, they're looking for ground cover, so make sure you're specific with what they are.
Yeah, exactly. They're looking for shade plants, they're looking for ground covers, they're looking for different colors throughout the season. So that's all the kind of stuff that you want to cover in here. All right, so again, bench cards, word processing program, photo on one side, description on the other. All right, now this is these are some lavender twist red bud that we had left over. We sold a ton of these things last year. We sold them early in the spring when they pretty much looked just like this, no leaves, no flowers. This is the bench card that Amber made up last year for the lavender twist weeping red bud. And what we did, here's a picture of it in the summer, which is early spring when it's in flower. And then here's a picture of it in the middle of summer when it's completely covered with leaves. Every person that we showed this thing to wanted one. And that's, I mean, we had no problem whatsoever selling them with leaves, without leaves, and without flowers, just by using this bench card. So that's why bench cards are so important, because it really helps people understand. And then a lot of people wanted to take a copy of this thing with them so they knew how to prune this thing to get this shape. So again, and so we had some printed up that people could take with them when they bought the tree, so they knew what it looked like. So anyway, that's a perfect example, because right now these things don't look very desirable, but this thing sells them like crazy. So I guess that's it.